What I would say about the FBA movement, it's no different than the KKK. Meant to divide, meant to separate you, to isolate you, to have you looking at other races that look like you and hating them for no reason. That is the same foundation and principles that the Ku Klux Klan build themselves on, which is protecting their whiteness, their pureness. Not knowing that they are not pure, it's a lie. And I don't get involved in these types of conversations because it's ridiculous. And it's very unintelligent to talk about, to even speak on, that I would deny my own children, my own grandfather, my own mother, just to protect what, a movement? Y'all don't put food on my plate? Y'all don't pay none of my bills? Y'all sitting in living rooms with bonnets on, causing division because you angry, trying to be accepted, no different than a gang on gang crime when you got them little boys in Chicago or any other city taking each other out over what? Just because you look different, you said something, now we got adults actually doing.
Boy, that statement created a firestorm in our FBA community. And eventually, Tasha K walked that statement back and apologized. But I don't want to spend this entire video talking about whether Tasha K was right or wrong, or what so many content creators have covered thus far. I think she accidentally opened up a much bigger conversation that we as a community need to have. And that conversation is, what happens to a distinct ethnic identity when the people who carry that identity increasingly build families outside of that ethnic group? This is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, is marrying outside, creating families outside of your ethnic group. It was unheard of back in the day. It was very rare back when our ancestors did it. And now it's becoming all too common. But let's revisit again what Tasha had to say.
They called my husband an African booty scratcher. They said that I cannot speak on the foundational Black American movement because I'm married to a booty scratcher. Here's what I think about the FBA movement and any other movement that has to do with Young Pharaoh, Brother Polite, Dr. Umar Johnson, all of these movements that y'all look up to, all these men, okay, that I guess guide you to help elevate your consciousness. Here's what I would say about the FBA movement. It's no different than the KKK. Meant to divide, meant to separate you, to isolate you, to have you looking at other races that look like you and hating them for no reason. That is the same foundation and principles that the Ku Klux Klan build themselves on, which is protecting their whiteness, their pureness. Not knowing that they are not pure, it's a lie. And I don't get involved in these types of conversations because it's ridiculous. And it's very unintelligent to talk about, to even speak on, that I would deny my own children, my own grandfather, my own mother, just to protect what, a movement? Y'all don't put food on my plate? Y'all don't pay none of my bills? Y'all sitting in living rooms with bonnets on, causing division because you angry, trying to be accepted, no different than a gang on gang crime when you got them little boys in Chicago or any other city taking each other out over what? Just because you look different?
Now, I completely understand why we, the people, push back on this. Comparing FBA to the Ku Klux Klan is an extremely serious comparison, and I don't think those two things should be conflated. However, she did apologize, but apologizing doesn't mean the underlying conversation disappears. Now, there are a lot of things that I hear on social media from other ethnic groups, and although it's coming from them, sometimes we can't find truth in what they say or have a conversation about their perspective against ours. So I truly believe in that. But the deeper question that I want to point out is, what exactly are we trying to preserve? Now, we have been called many names, and I understand why, because they don't really want us to find out and to understand our true identity. But over here in America, the US of A, let me get specific, the United States, since it was built by us, what exactly are we trying to preserve? And that's a good question. Now, I would even say 10, 15, 20 years ago, let's just focus on 2020 up until this point. There have been a massive influx of various people of color coming through the borders, and some of them have been riding our coattails since the 1960s, have been able to benefit from what our people, the ones who built this country, have fought, bled, and died for. And since we have felt the impact of this massive influx of people in the United States, we said, hey, we need to specify exactly who we are, because we can't just go by black anymore. We never gave ourselves the name African American, but we rode with it, which I think is something that we just need to put in our bag, because we don't need to let anybody else use that, because 50 to 100 years from now, their children will say that they were the African Americans who built the country. We already see what Haitians are talking about. So I don't think we should just throw away that name. I think we should just put it underneath our umbrella of the many names that we have had in the past. But we needed to be more specific in this day and age. And so one of our elders came up with legacy Black Americans. And so one of our brothers said, well, I'm going to polish that a little bit more, and we're going to call ourselves the foundational Black American, meaning that we are the foundation of the United States. If it was not for our labor, if it was not for our inventions, if it was not for those who fought in the wars, bled and died, America would not be the land that everyone wishes to come to on today. So we had to very much specify who we were, and we understood that preserving that, protecting that, not inviting everyone to the cookout, gatekeeping our ethnic group was vital to our survival. But if that distinct identity matters, if we matter enough for us to organize around it, advocate for it, and talk about economic empowerment and wealth transfer, then shouldn't we also be willing to examine how that identity gets transmitted from one generation to the next? That's a very important question. Now, we have the right to love who we want to. That's a right. We have the right to marry who we want to. We have the right to have children with whoever we want to have children with. But the question is, are you contributing to preserving our specific ethnic group? Now, I want to talk about the passport bros, okay? Because as a Black woman, as a descendant of freemen, it bothered me that these men, and I understand the men's perspective, our men's perspective, because a lot of us women, I'm gonna be honest, have become feminists. We're independent. We don't need a man. Yes, we do. We lying. We were bamboozled. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, because life cannot go on unless you have the seed, unless you have that male. But that's how we were bamboozled. So now they came up a few years ago where Black men have become more established, have resources and money, and they go to these other areas and they choose wives from other countries. Therefore, making the children, when they come together as one, the children are what we call mixed. They're not, they have at least one, and that's what makes up FBA, according to the definition, is that you have to have at least one foundational Black American parent. But going back to what I'm saying is, the passport bros are going outside of America, outside of their ethnic group, and they are marrying females or getting females from other cultures.
A Black chick from Switzerland, a mixed chick from Manchester. It happens all the time. And this is not to say that problems will not be there, but it is a change in the temperature in the relationship. Another popular thing right now is the Afro-Latino community. You know, you got the Dominicans, you got the Black Colombians. And when you see a man quietly doing this, it says certain things. Number one, I still prefer a woman that has some ties to the Black world. That's what I want. And that could be mixed, it could not. But I don't want to give up on Black women all the way. But I will not deal with Black American women. I will not put up with the kind of relationship that I might get from Drew Sidor or that I may get from Keke Palmer.
Shout out to OSheaDukeJackson. You can tell those who really care about their lineage and things of that nature. He is putting down fire here recently. He's always done it, but he's been more of a Pan-Africanist, but now he's seeing what that entails, and he's standing 10 toes down for the culture. But he is, I believe, or was, a supporter of the Passport Bros, and it's because of the mindset that Black American females, that we allegedly have, and we have bought into the feminist or the boss lady, or we've bought into that. And so there's healing that needs to be taking place, not only for the females, but the males as well. But going back to the topic, when you marry and deal with people outside of your ethnic group, you develop children. You have children. And this is where I think we need to be careful. Not every child of an interracial relationship experience identity confusion. Some children are completely comfortable embracing multiple cultures and identities. But for the most part that I have seen, they could get a lot of love at home. The father and the mother loves them, but you have those racial divides in the family, which can cause a lot of tension. And I know I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I stay in these social media streets, and I have even did a TikTok video one time reacting to a child who had a black parent and a white parent, and she didn't know where to fit in. And a lot of these people don't know where to fit in, even when it comes down to the people that look like us. I listen to a lot of Tariq Nasheed's radio station, and there's a lot of people who say, well, I don't know, my father is FBA and my mama is this, or my mama is FBA and this is that, and they don't know really where to fit in. So again, at what point does an individual choice becomes a community question? Because individually, we all have the right to choose who we love. But collectively, communities also have the right to ask what happens to their culture, institutions, traditions, and lineage when those choices become widespread. This is where we have to look at, for an example, Kobe Bryant. He married a woman of color. She was not, she wasn't black, or she wasn't in our lineage. But unfortunately, when he passed away, all of his wealth went to his wife, rightfully so, because that was his rib. That's who he chose as his rib. And his family, his mom and daddy, who birthed him into the world, who made sure he ate, who made sure he had things for school coming up and everything, they were excluded from that altogether. And so when we're talking about issues like this, we have to bring in the wealth transfer. Because if you have other people, that's one thing I do agree with Umar Johnson about, is that wealth goes to another community. Now, just last week, we talked about 3 absolutely Black American-owned hair companies, or hair brands, that are still alive and well today. And this is why I'm connecting this conversation to the wealth transfer. We talk about wealth transferring all the time. We talk about supporting Black American businesses. We talk about preserving our history. But wealth isn't the only thing that's transferred from one generation to the other. Culture is transferred. Identity is transferred. History is transferred. Family traditions are transferred. So if we're serious about preserving our distinct Black American identity, we have to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations about how identity is going to survive from one generation to the next. Therefore, again, I'm not here to tell anyone who they should love or marry or anything like that. Let me just put in a personal story before I let you go. My last relationship was with an African. Never thought that I would ever date outside of my culture. Never thought that I would date outside of Black American men. Never thought that. But I entertained the opportunity, and this person treated me so well. Not only did he treat me well, he treated my daughter well, my family well, and he proved himself time and time and time again. He wanted to get married, and I had to battle with this thing. Now, I am a daughter of Zion. He is a Muslim. We both are devout in our belief, and this issue kept coming up. And I finally came to the conclusion that I knew that hard times were going to come. Nobody is perfect, and nobody's relationship is perfect. And I said, when those hard times come about, who are we going to pray to? There's no exception for me. I'm not compromising my belief or who I pray to. And I know that he didn't have a problem with me believing what I believe, but I know eventually we were going to have to touch and agree. And I knew that we were unequally yoked. But other than his religion, and his culture, he was the perfect person. We're still friends to this day. He was not westernized, but I still cannot give up on my Black American men. And even if I don't get married from this point on, I've come to accept that, and I'm good with that. But just for this reason, Tasha K, she felt like she had to defend, because not only does she have an African husband, but she has also created children. And just like a lioness, which is my emblem, which is, I love lions. But just like a lioness will even protect her cubs from their father if he gets too wound up. And that's why she came to that conclusion, because she had to defend the position that she took by marrying outside of her ethnic group. So, again, just wanted to throw that in there. What I am asking is whether we should have honesty and consider the collective consequences of our individual choices. What you do does affect me. If FBA identity matters, then how do we preserve it? How do we teach it? How do we pass it down? And most importantly, how do we make sure our children don't have to choose between the different parts of who they are? Now, that's very important. We have to get our children involved. We got to teach them who they are and what our expectations are. In China, the Chinese people say it's not even a question. In India, it's not even a question. They marry each other to keep the culture going. So, again, let me know what you think. Didn't mean for this video to go on so long, but I wanted to respond to her in a different light. I wanted to respond because everybody is ready for her. And she understands that. I know she understands that. But we have to address these other issues. And that is marrying outside, getting with somebody outside of your ethnic group, while still having so much Black pride, FBA pride, whatever you want to identify yourself as. But you got to pass that on to your children and your legacy and the future generations. And if everybody is out here dating anybody and everybody, we are going to disappear before you know it. So again, let me know what you think. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And may the Most High bless.